Well, I guess you could say I was in the right place at the right time. The place happened to be Napa Valley, California. Brittany and I decided to fly to California for a short vacation away from the, regular hustle and bustle with the kids. We had plenty of places on our bucket list to visit, and of course, a trip to wine country was one of them. Now, honestly, I've never been much of a drinker. I had a small sip every now and then when I was younger, but I hated the taste and decided that alcohol probably just wasn't for me. But since this was Napa, and it was somewhat of a special occasion because we don't get to visit California very often, I decided, what the heck, maybe now that I'm older I'll like it more than I did when I was younger. So we settled in at a winery. I ordered a glass of Merlot, and I was happy to discover, for a few minutes anyway, that I was right. Wine did taste better with grown-up taste buds. To Brittany's surprise, I even ordered a second glass. But as it turned out, my newfound love of wine was short-lived. By the time I was served glass number 2, my face started feeling like it was burning. It wasn't just my imagination either. Brittany mentioned that I was looking pretty flushed. Now, look, I wish that was the worst of it, but then I started to feel nauseous, like I was going to throw up right there in the winery. My heart even felt like it was beating faster. Needless to say, I was really uncomfortable. I was sweating, overheated, and I just didn't feel like myself. It probably goes without saying that I didn't finish my second glass of wine. Instead, I turned to my medical training and tried to figure out what was going on. Was it an allergy? Could I be having a reaction to the sulfites? Although it was possible, medically, it was pretty unlikely. I spent a few minutes like that until suddenly, it dawned on me. The answer was so obvious that I couldn't believe I didn't think of it sooner. I was experiencing something called Asian flush syndrome. That might sound made up, but that's actually what it's called. And although the name makes it sound like it only occurs in people of Asian descent like me, it actually can affect people of other ethnic backgrounds too. It's just far more common in Asians. The way it happens is, basically, alcohol is broken down in your liver in 2 steps, using 2 enzymes. The first enzyme converts alcohol into a toxic chemical. To picture it, imagine radioactive sludge, something really nasty. Now, that radioactive sludge, by the way, is what researchers believe causes hangovers. If you've ever had a hangover, you know that thankfully they don't last forever. That's because a second powerful enzyme breaks that sludge into harmless compounds that leave your body. Unfortunately, although people with Asian flush have that second enzyme, it's defective, meaning that many Asians experience an instant hangover if they drink. Fortunately, I survived my trip to Napa, and it was that experience that actually got me thinking about what an important role the liver plays in virtually everything. I mean, as a physician, I knew that, but nothing brings the fact home like sitting in a winery, sweating, red-faced and nauseous, all because of a teeny tiny malfunctioning liver enzyme. Your liver's actually like the conductor of a world-class orchestra. While the drummers and the violinists and the horn players all have critical roles to play, it's the conductor that sets the tempo, keeps everyone in unison, and decides how the piece should be played. The conductor directs everything. Well, your liver isn't too different. In fact, it's actually the hardest working organ in your body. It has over 500 functions. I mean, think about that. Imagine if you had 500 things to accomplish on your to-do list every single day, because that's what your liver faces day in and day out. And of those 500 things on your liver's to-do list, one of its most important jobs is fat burning. That's right. Your liver is your body's #1 fat-burning organ. It burns fat by creating bile, which is key to breaking down fat. Think of a pan that's caked with grease. Bile is like the liquid detergent that cuts through the grease, breaking down fats. Without enough bile, those fats can't be used as energy by your body. Instead, they form fatty deposits under the skin, causing cellulite in the butt, thighs, arms, and belly. Or they appear as a roll of fat under the upper abdomen, or you get a pot belly, or love handles. These fat globules can even build up in the heart and other organs. Bottom line, you get unwanted fat all over, the very thing that none of us want. And while you might be tempted to think that your liver's fine because you mostly eat okay, don't drink too much, and get enough exercise, age plays a huge factor in liver health. By the time you're 40, the tubes and ducts running in and out of your liver start to get gummed up with all kinds of junk like toxins, fat globules, scar tissue, and metabolic waste. And at the age of 50, the news only gets worse. By then, your body may only be getting a fraction of the bile it needs to break down fat, which is why the older we get, the fatter we tend to get. But middle-aged people aren't the only ones who struggle with unhealthy livers. Anyone that eats foods containing even small amounts of fat like eggs, chicken, or potatoes. So basically, everyone can develop an unhealthy liver leading to weight gain.